Welcome back. I'm here with Paul Cluff from Stratford Today. Paul, thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So Stratford Today is relatively new. How many other markets is it in?
So we're the second newest market. We're owned by a company called Village Media, which is based in the Sault Ste. Marie. So we're in 18 in total in Ontario, the most recent being Halton Hills, Georgetown area. We launched about 5 weeks ago, and we cover Stratford and Perth County.
So your website, if people go to it, is very robust. There's different things that I love that we'll just bring to the attention is the gas prices. How do you actually keep current on that?
Yeah, that's a feature on all of the sites through Village Media. We start the day off with what's called a good morning photo. It comes on at about 7 a.m. It's just a landmark photo around the city. And then included in that also is gas prices as well, some local gas pricing. So it's kind of the first thing you look at in the morning and the first thing you can complain about to your husband or wife when you get the paper. So the virtual paper.
Yeah, it's definitely topical. The other one that I thought they did an exceptionally great job is the weather. So how do you actually take my weather app? I honestly, it's disappointing compared to what I saw in yours. So how do you actually convert that over? Because it's really impressive.
Yeah, it's another local feature that we have, trying to be 100% local. The fellow that owns the company, Jeff Elgie, is a programmer. He thought of all these things when he started up Village Media, including having a really robust, informative weather section. It goes along with the gas thing first thing in the morning, where those are the things you're worried about. So we try to include that as well.
Yeah. Paul, what's your role as editor? What do you really do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. I've lived in Stratford for 20 years now. John Castor hired me at the Stratford Beacon Herald. Everybody knows that name around town. Back in 2002, I worked there for a time, had some other roles and responsibilities in journalism. Prior to coming to Stratford Today, I was working in the corporate world for a billion-dollar company based in Texas, and I was a Canada business rep for them. And then this door opened back up, the journalism door. This company is expanding, as I mentioned, rather than retracting, which is unfortunately we're seeing a lot of in the media world. So I interviewed for the position. So basically, from the get-go, it's a startup here, although the company is well established elsewhere. So our initial goals were to just reach out to the community, let them know we're here, establish those contacts with businesses, not-for-profits, organizations. So I'm really in charge of keeping an eye on what's coming up in Stratford and Perth County, getting everything looked after in terms of coverage, and then the old school editing, looking through it with the editor's cap on and making sure the stories are ready to go.
There's another cool feature you have is the police beat. How do you keep up on all that information coming? And talk about the police beat too.
Sure, yeah. Well, we're fortunate to have some great partners with Stratford Police Service and Perth County OPP, whose roles include working with the media and providing us with daily tidbits of information from the city and county. So we don't run everything. We do get a fair amount of stuff in there. But we do keep track of analytics, and they're well read. So, people want to keep up on that stuff. So, every day you'll see a few police briefs in there. Hopefully they're minor events. Sometimes they're bigger and you'll see a bigger story with a photo. But those are fewer and far in between.
So in terms of local content, what do you try to pick up on? What kind of news stories?
There's the traditional stuff, Peter. City Hall. I was at City Hall last night, virtually covering that. The police and cops stuff, as you mentioned. But we try to do some feature stuff too. Ron James was in town recently. Had a chance to sit down with him, a very funny comedian who has a show coming up in Festival City. So a little bit of hard news, as they call it in our industry, and a little bit of feature stuff. That's what you can find.
Well, Paul, thanks very much for joining me. If you as a viewer are looking for a robust website with tons of information, it's very, very impressive. Stratford Today. Paul, thank you and best wishes for continued success.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up next, we're going to talk to Victoria and the Smash Room.